What's up, YouTube? It's time for a review of the new In Flames record Battles, out last Friday, November 11th. I'm rooting for In Flames. I really am. The last 14, 15 years of music from these guys hasn't been nearly as atrocious as your internet trolls might indicate. The problem is that literally between 1995 and 2000, these guys could do no wrong. They just cranked out one melodic death metal classic after another. I mean, Gesture Race to Clayman is one of the best 4-album runs in metal history. So when you go from that to more recent albums like Sense of Purpose or Come Clarity, which are obviously way more melodic and accessible and dumbed down, the contrast is so stark that it generates that much more extreme of backlash from fans. Now, personally, I definitely do prefer those classic records in the case of In Flames, but Come Clarity was awesome in spots. Sense of Purpose and Sounds of Playground Fading had their moments. Siren Charms. Siren Charms is what broke me. It's not even the songs themselves as much as how the record sounded. Sonically, Siren Charms just had no muscle, no balls. It was totally lifeless. The production compressed everything down to like a single sugar cube of lightweight alternative metal. And yeah, there were some genuinely terrible songs too, like Paralyze, which tossed in all these corny, unnecessary industrial elements. But you know, I bet the riffs in a song like Monsters in the Ballroom would have been pretty slamming if they weren't so goddamn overproduced. And unfortunately with Battles, the production is once again the main issue. Listening to this album almost feels like the band is in the room next to you and you're kind of like listening through a thin wall. I just feel so disconnected from what I'm hearing because of this fat layer of gloss and studio effects that the band, I guess, saw fit to kind of slather on. There's no grit, there's no edge. Just listen to how weak and flaccid the beginning of the song Here Until Forever sounds. It's depressing. I swear I'm listening to fucking robots playing those harmonized guitars. There's no nuance or emotion or anything to latch onto. And when the band turned to more aggressive stuff like the verses in the song Through Your Eyes, it just packs no real punch. It feels like it's supposed to, but it just doesn't give me a charge. I guess now I kind of know what it must be like to be a girl getting banged by a guy with like a really small penis. Like, I know my senses are supposed to be perking up right now, but I don't really feel anything. Which has to be the worst analogy in the history of music reviews, but sort of in line with the production issue, the absolute worst thing going on Battles is the band's use of what I'll call, for lack of a better term, melodic gang vocals. These like vocal sections that invoke the sound of a large crowd of people all singing this one melody. It essentially adds this giant dose of melodrama. It's a technique that Bring Me the Horizon used on their last record, That's the Spirit, and it did work for them. But when it shows up here, it's just so fucking out of place. It just sounds like the band are trying to get their merch onto the shelves at Hot Topic. It's just so forced. Just listen to the chorus of the song The End, or The Truth, or that last chorus in Here Until Forever. It just fucking drives me nuts. And speaking of Bring Me the Horizon, if you listen to the second half of the chorus to the song Here Until Forever, which this is now my third time mentioning this fucking track, but it illustrates all my points. The second time around when Anders says, When I Look at You, is almost identical in cadence and melody to the Bring Me the Horizon song Drown, when Ollie Sykes says, Who will save me now? So, not good. What hurts is there's parts of a lot of these songs that I'm really into, but there's almost always another part of the same song that totally kills it for me. Case in point, the song In My Room has these wonderful dual guitar harmonies that totally sound like late 90s In Flames. And the verses have these slinky, clean guitars that have the audiophile in me completely enamored. But then, this inexcusably generic guitar riff pops in during the verses, and it also closes out the song. It's one of those riffs where you cannot believe it made it past the cutting room floor. Like, come on, man. And then the song The Truth has this guitar riff that darts in and out of the chorus that I really love. Skip to 57 seconds to pinpoint it, but then it has the horrific chorus itself. But of course, the upside of what I'm saying is that there's a bunch of cool stuff on this album that kind of brings the seesaw down to equilibrium for me. The song Like Sand has a brooding and mournful flavor to it that I really identify with, and that definitely fits the lyrical themes, which to me read as this overwhelming death and mortality anxiety that's only intensifying as the narrator is getting older. It's heartbreaking, and it's something that we all face. The inevitability of death and the crippling fear that comes as we approach it, slipping through like sand. If each minute is a grain of sand going down through an hourglass, which is a common analogy for life, it's kind of like this embodiment of that fear. I also love Before I Fall. That main chord progression in the chorus is one of those musical passages that you hear once and is in your head for 40 years. It's so damn catchy. So yeah, there are several moments on this album that make me kind of pump the brakes on my disdain for it. There's a lot of shit about Battles that will probably deter me from repeated listens. Among the things I've already discussed, some other reasons include Jester Race, Horacle, Subterranean, Colony. It's tough because I'll never be that guy that just wants a band to remake their classic records. That is the worst type of fan. But there's such a clear-cut difference between Old In Flames and New In Flames that I would be lying to myself and I'd be lying to you if I said anything post-Clayman is worth writing home about. I'm all for new styles, but it's got to be good. Battles is better than Siren Charms, and it's got enough engaging moments in it where it wouldn't shock me to hear that people are really digging it. Just for my taste, it's another dumbed down, overproduced Modern In Flames record that's not terrible, but that I could take or leave. Battles gets a 5 out of 10 from me. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, or shoot me a message so we can continue to talk music, and I will see you guys soon.